You smell what the Rock is cooking.
WBCB presents Pro Wrestling Weekly.
Tell me he didn't just say that.
Call in with a question or comment at 215-949-3232 or 888-922-2149.
The tower of power, too sweet to be sour, funky like a monkey, oh yeah.
And now, here's your host of Pro Wrestling Weekly, Fearon.
It doesn't matter what your name is.
Really? Yeah!
Fearon here with you, talking wrestling like we usually do. All kinds of crazy stuff to talk about and get into here. Having some fun technical things here. We've got a jam-packed show for you coming up a little bit later. I've got an interview with D'Lo Brown, the new vice president of Aces and Eights. So we've got that to talk about, and currently on the line, we'll get to him in a minute. We've got a little bit of local publicity to get into as well, as we're going to be talking with the owner of the Worldwide Wrestling Alliance, and they've got an event coming up next Saturday. We're going to be talking a little bit about that, and we'll also have some tickets available for that as well. So there's we've got a lot going on in this jam-packed hour. And let's go ahead and kick it off. We've got just getting a technical difficulty out of the way or two here. We've got Dino on the line here, the owner of the WWWA. That's going to be. They've got a show coming up in Bristol next week. Dino, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Fearon. Thank you. Thanks for having us.
No problem. So tell us a little bit about what's going on. I know that. From what I saw, the poster here, we've got the event going on. It's for the Goodwill Hose Company, number 3 over in Bristol, right down the road from here. Seats not too terribly expensive. General admission $10, so it's a real inexpensive show. Great night to come on out here. It's next Saturday, the 23rd, 1 week from tonight. Bell time's at 7:30. And that's over at is that Swain and Mifflin Streets in Bristol?
Yes, correct. Anytime we get the opportunity to fire, to raise money for those people in uniform, the police department, the fire department, all that, it gives us like a privilege to do something for them. Because, these people, they really need the help. You know what I mean? They put the uniform, they volunteer, they do all this work for us. So on March 23rd, all our champions will be at the fire common at the Goodwill Fire Hose. And we'll have a fantastic wrestling event. As you know, the Worldwide Wrestling Alliance, I've been around for 33 years now. In about a month from now, it'll be 33 years. And we've done professional wrestling events all over the world. Not just here in Pennsylvania or New Jersey and Delaware. We've been around for a long time, and we use the best, from WWE, WCW, TNA, and any organization. In fact, a lot of the guys that now they're on the tube, and those organizations, they started with us. Like Steve Richards, Supernova, many guys. And we're proud to come back in the Bristol area to do this event for the Fire Hose Company, number 3, and help those guys out. And like you say, where are you going to go out for $12 ringside and $10 general admission and have a full night of sport entertainment? And pro wrestling, as you know, Fearon, pro wrestling is the number 1 sport in the whole world. A lot of people say, wrestling this, but come on, we all know it. Everybody loves wrestling. Everybody loves professional wrestling. So to all the wrestling fans out there who listen to your program and everybody else, please come out. If you really want to see some real pro wrestling, and come out on the 23rd and join us, and you will get to see the best professional wrestling has to offer.
Sounds like a plan. We'll be we'll look a little bit more in depth into it next week, and
I'm looking forward. I'll have some tickets. I'll be at the show next week, and I'll probably be standing by the door. I'll come up with something over the week, because I know I've been trying to rack my brain for the best way to do a giveaway this particular moment, and haven't quite figured anything out yet.
Well, I tell you, I love to see you there that night, and so you can see what we're all about and what we've been doing for years. I don't know if you ever see any of our live event. I know the previous person that was there at the radio station, Eric, knows me very well and done some of the show with us. But I know a lot of the wrestling fans who listen to your radio station every Saturday know us and seen a lot of the action that we put out there. And I tell you, we got some of the best athletes out there, from the area and also from the tri-state area, and it's going to be great.
Yeah, that's kind of been my Achilles heel with taking over the program. It's amazing to think it's been about 4 years ago now that Eric passed the torch over to me here. But one of the things I've been trying to get more involved with is a lot of the local aspect, the independent scene. Looking at the future stars of tomorrow as well as the ones on TV today. So it's something I'm definitely looking forward to.
Well, a lot of these guys, and people don't realize, people say, oh, this, wrestlers and that. Let me tell you something. These guys work their butt off, There's so much, as you know, Fearon, there's so much training involved, so much, it's your life, you know what I mean? When you become a wrestler, when you're a wrestler, it's your livelihood, it's your life. Every single one of those athletes out there deserve a lot of respect, because they really, really work hard, and they know in order to be someone tomorrow, you need to do that. You need to go out and do the best you can do it day in and day out. Anytime you go out there, anytime you step to the ring, you many times, I would say 95% of the time, they don't even know who they're going to face. They don't even know what's what, so it's not easy, and this is why in the local scene, my organization and our organization, we have made some superstars who people see every week on TV, and it's a great thing, and we're proud of it.
Yeah, it gives you that kind of that blend of veterans and rookies, people who you've seen in the past and people who you'll be seeing for the first time and hopefully seeing a lot of in the future.
Well, there's another thing that probably, I'm sure a lot of the wrestling fans who listen to this program maybe know already, but I will tell you this. The Worldwide Wrestling Alliance is the only company who inducted Bruno Sammartino into the Hall of Fame about 4 years ago, right here in Montgomery County area. I had a banquet for him, so I know there's a lot of stuff going on now, because he's going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame in WWE, and I know a lot of people don't like that, because everybody who knows Bruno Sammartino knows that Bruno never want to go back with Vince, never want to do anything with him. So, as Bruno say on his interview a few weeks ago, he believes that there's been a lot of change there. He believes that now a lot of the wrestlers are cleaner. He believes that they hire one of the doctors from Pittsburgh to oversee the operation, and there is no much steroid and on and on. I leave it up to the wrestling fans to decide what they want to believe, or whether Bruno was forced into accepting this Hall of Fame. But I do know one thing, that for years Bruno told me all the time that he would never, ever have anything to do with Vince McMahon. And I remember when we had our banquet and we inducted him into the Hall of Fame, we have a DVD which is 2 hours long, and I'm going to make a lot of copy and put it out there so that people will get to see the whole DVD and the whole induction to the Hall of Fame. And we have a trademark in the United States. They will get to listen to Bruno Sammartino with this DVD about all his life into professional wrestling. From the time when he came from Italy to the time he stopped wrestling. He was on the podium, and he told everybody the whole life into, his whole life into the pro wrestling business. And we're proud. I mean, he was the first person to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, and then, of course, he was followed by Nikolai Volko and many others.
That's not a bad pedigree to start with. So, for more information, let's talk a little. Let me quick give you the rundown on the show again for next week. It's again to benefit the hose company number 3, the fire company. They're right in Bristol. The show is going to be at Swain and Mifflin Streets. Tickets are $12 for ringside, $10 for general admission. You can get tickets one of two ways. You can either go through the WWWA offices at 215-362-7184, or you can call the Goodwill Fire Company at 215-785-2173. And if you happen to see me down there, I think I might be able to snag some tickets to get you. I might have a connection or two. We'll see.
Well, we'll give you 10 tickets to give away at your radio station, so you could do anytime you want it, and you get those names. I will have in an envelope. You can give a 10 tickets away on your program.
Oh, there we go. So we'll I'll come up with some stuff on the Facebook page over the week. Have people chime in on Facebook and calling into the show next week, and they can they'll be able to head down and pick up the tickets on the site there, and They'll see me there, which is almost as good as seeing this event. It's like an added bonus, I guess.
There you go. Great.
All right, Dino, thanks so much for spending a few minutes with me. I look forward to talking to you again. I look forward to seeing you next week for the great show that's going to be put out by the Worldwide Wrestling Alliance.
Thank you, Fearon, and thank you to all you wrestling fans who listen to this program. And please support pro wrestling. It's the best sport out there nowadays. Thank you.
You certainly have the audience for it here. Thank you so much, Dino. Appreciate the call. I'm looking forward to it. I love getting out to the independent things. I know it's usually a little draining because I got to do the overnights here later at BCB, but it's definitely worth it. And usually have nothing but good things to say about the various experiences that I have. All right, I've got a couple minutes here before I'm up against it. We've got Dan who's been hanging on patiently. Oh, Dan, we lost Dan? Okay,
not so patient as we think.
Not as patient as I thought. All right. Well, in that case, I got a minute or two here. Before we got to take our time out here. I think I mentioned it on the Facebook page, but the last two segments will be pre-recorded. I have another engagement I've got to be at 1:00, and I can't quite necessarily be here, but for the entire show, so it'll be on Memorex as you'll hear on the other side here. But coming up, I've got my interview from a few months back with the now Vice President of Aces and Eights, D'Lo Brown, and we'll of course look back at the Lockdown pay-per-view, which I went 5-3 on my picks. The only ones I didn't have right, I went with my heart instead of my head, thinking that Robbie E had beat Robbie T, and Wes Briscoe beat Kurt Angle in the cage match, as did TNA beating Aces and Eights in the Lethal Lockdown match. But Aces and Eights had the last laugh later in the night as Bully Ray was announced as the president of Aces and Eights, along with some help beating Jeff Hardy to win the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. And, of course, since the last time I was on, pro wrestling lost a rather notable name. In fact, it made all kinds of mainstream. I know, almost 2 weeks ago, Tuesday when it had happened, my phone, Facebook, email was all blowing up, text messages, finding out about the passing of William Moody. I'm sure you've heard about it by now. Paul Bearer, as he is best known in the WWE, and of course going back to the 80s, he was known as Percy Pringle. He was 58 years old. The cause hasn't been determined, I don't believe, as of yet. I know there were some reports thrown out there by TMZ about him being treated for a blood clot days before his passing, but that hasn't been listed as the official cause. Definitely want to throw that out there. Matt, did you
TMZ not the most reliable these days, though, after the Lil Wayne scare last night. You see that?
That I didn't see. I have to admit, I was frantically throwing this show together and wasn't paying attention to the latest from TMZ.
Reports Lil Wayne was on his deathbed after a seizure last night. And it's about 8
misreported?
Lil Wayne tweets about an hour later, "I'm home and okay."
Man. All right, so what can I say? Just like the weather, they don't necessarily always get it right. You'd think they do a little bit of fact checking. At least they, got. I mean, this one was definitely confirmed. If WWE is announcing it as well as TMZ, I think you can count that as kind of official. If they have a big thing up on WWE.com. So, that I think I could declare as official. And I'll have my take on this past Monday's events of Raw and whether CM Punk crossed the line a little bit, kind of interrupting the tribute ceremony to Paul Bearer. I've got that. I've got news and notes. I've got Facebook feedback reaction, including an interesting one from Eric from up in the Minnesota Wrecking Crew. I know he's a Jerichoholic and has been for a long time, and he posed a question on the Facebook fan page, and I'll react to that as well. So definitely a lot to do still. And thanks again to Matt Sarchik for pushing the buttons and turning the dials and all that. I'll be back next week with a full show and a huge announcement coming up later this hour regarding next week's show. It's a bit of a milestone show for those of you who have been listening for a while. Actually, it was 4 years ago this week that I'm actually sitting in the chair that I was sitting, and to my right was Eric the Loose Cannon Gargiulo with his last episode here on WBCB before passing the torch over to me after just over 10 years of hosting this program. And for the last 4, I've held the air chair rather nicely and continued the tradition here on the longest running pro wrestling radio talk show in the history of terrestrial radio. You keep having your finger on the mic button like you want to chime in, Starship Matt. Okay, I'm looking like, all right, he looks like he's going to chime in. Yeah, you feel free to do that, but just,
I think you were looking at congrats, Fearon.
Okay. Okay, that just a little self-congratulatory pat on the back, kind of like Barry Horowitz or something like that. Anyway, coming up, I've got the interview with D'Lo Brown. I've got Facebook feedback. I've got news notes. I've got clips of reaction. All that coming up, and a whole bunch more here on Pro Wrestling Weekly, here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com.